You're listening to Eat, Play, Sex with Dr. Cat, the place to up-level that sexy life of yours, with expert talk on sex, love, and nutrition.
Do you have any red flags that you personally have to look out for when you're in your relating journey that you've discovered?
How many? How much time do we have? Red flags about what specifically? I feel like I have a lot of red flags on various different things that I see.
So we have a tendency to fall into the same patterns, given whatever our attachment systems that were, set up for us from early childhood. And so I think as we learn more about ourselves and as we gain more sovereignty of our nervous system and our, physiological reactions and behaviors and observance of those behaviors. But I wonder if there are some things that you find yourself falling into over and over again. Earlier, you mentioned about the relationship where you felt the need of the other person.
Yeah. So just from a more macro level, what I realized it's funny, I recorded a podcast. So I have a podcast called The Deep Dive with Adam Roa, and
I'm on it.
You have been on it, and you're going to be on it again. Hopefully, I hope. And there was my crazy first date or something like that. That's like the name of the podcast. I can't remember, but there is this thing that came up around money, and a parking ticket and this whole thing on this like date that wasn't even really a date. And it was such an intense experience. And I asked the question, what is it that is calling this experience into my life of women where I'm needing to be like seen as like a financial provider in this way, and there's all this like attachment around that. And what I realized was through the excavation of that was that I had not felt man enough in so many ways growing up, because I was late to the puberty game, and I was small and Asian and all of these things. And I assigned my ability to provide financially as being a measure of my masculinity. And so I had been calling in women that needed me to be that so that I could feel more masculine and more powerful. Identifying that allowed me to work on that and detach my worth from my financial situation. And now I've been able to call in a relationship where I don't need to be that at all. It feels so good. And so like, that's like a macro example of patterns that I've broken that I feel like are like bigger patterns of my own self-worth and stuff. But how they show up in relationship now are in these little kind of insidious ways of, for example, I have noticed like a big red flag for me is when I feel less than, when I feel it's not even less than, when I feel like there's nothing I could do, like when I can't help, when I can't whatever, and when I feel like it's out of my control, and I can feel my system like not like that. I can hear a voice in my head that wants to say, almost like a gaslighting kind of thing, right? Like it wants to say something to plant the seed of like how to try and make myself seem more valuable, or to make it seem like she's done something wrong in order like something like that. And I catch it. And it's funny because I'm catching it now, but that means that I didn't catch it before. Like there have been years and years and years of relationship where I have done that pattern and not caught it. And so that's an example of something that I'm catching right now. And those are, when I talk about being in a relationship for like 2 months now, like those are the pieces where I'm getting an opportunity to see these aspects of myself and face off with these things that I don't like. I don't like them. I don't like them. And the truth is that in my experience, we won't change those behavior patterns until we have the opportunity to choose something different in a familiar pattern. So getting back into relationship, it's okay that my brain wants to make her feel bad for something that's not really her fault in order to make whatever happened in my brain as I'm rationalizing it. The thing is, now that I have awareness, I have choice. Am I going to choose to do it? Or am I going to sit there and go, why do you want to do this right now? Like, why is that coming up? And start to notice those patterns. Can I notice the times where I'm feeling really, really low and desiring to just call up my partner and have them come over so that I can feel less? Or can I realize that that's an old pattern of codependency that I'm choosing to break, and therefore in those moments go, this is the time where you say, hey, I'm having a really tough day. Love you. I'm going to take the rest of the day to show up for myself here. And I just need the space, which is a different pattern. And I'll go into over analysis of like, am I now actually not allowing myself to receive love? And just like but at the end of the day, I'm swinging the pendulum to the other side of the spectrum so that I can do things that I haven't done, so I can find the balance that feels true for me.
Yeah, reprogramming some of those hardwired strategies that we use in order to protect ourselves. So like, it's almost like you're expanding your toolbox and helping you to see, yes, you could still use that same strategy, and there's other ways to do it too. So what I'm hearing you say is you're practicing more of identifying your need, whatever the authentic need is, and then communicating that authentic need, which so many people struggle with, even recognizing the first part, that they have a need, or that what is the need.
Mm. The hard part is that often the discovery of these things is based on what feels uncomfortable. It's based on the part of us that goes, this doesn't feel good. And when something doesn't feel good like that, the brain just like is searching for a way to end that discomfort. Right. And that's why it's so easy for people to go into, let me just get on social media and do the dopamine hits of likes and comments. Sure. Let me just go into the cupboard and get some sugar or processed whatever. Like the ease that society has given us to numb out that discomfort is so readily available that it actually takes conscious effort to feel the discomfort and then go, okay, let me sit with this. Let me journal about this. Let me actually unpack this discomfort so I can understand it, so that I can ultimately remove it from my system in the long run. But it's going to require the unpacking and sitting in it for the time being. And I think that that is something that you and I have done to almost a level of like a masochistic level of just like, I'm so uncomfortable right now. Just sit in this. I'm going to force myself. And that's something that I respect about you. And it's something that for myself, I'm trying to find a balance that doesn't feel as heavy, you know? And I don't know that I found it yet. I was this morning I was feeling heavy, and then just like taking the time to go through my process to start to move some of that. But I can't say that I've moved it all. I can't say, like, I can still feel it, and I don't know what it is. I just had some really intense dreams, and then like, it's just, so, but it's just like this thing. And my previous self is like, lock yourself in your room and you sit in this and you just like be in this and you like, right. And now I'm like, what's the fun way of doing that? Like, what's the playful way of doing that? And you're someone who's inspired me a lot with your playfulness and your love, because I know that you don't shy away from the discomfort either.
Lovers, thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, hit subscribe and head over to eatplaysex.com to connect with me and grab my sexy guides. Because my goal here is to get you to eat, play, and sex better, so you can improve your sex life, which will improve every aspect of your life. Until next time, keep it sexy.